Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kevin Blakicki YouTube channel. We are here with another recap for the South Carolina Gamecock women's basketball team as they just put belt to ass to Southern Cal, winning their second game against them this year and proving that the real USC is in Columbia, South Carolina. The first matchup earlier in this season at Crypto.com Arena in LA went 69 to 52 in favor of the Gamecocks. And this game went way better for South Carolina. They absolutely destroyed the Trojans 101 to 61. Just a complete dominant performance from the beginning. And this game was never in doubt. Everyone on the team in the starting lineup, except for our beloved Raven Johnson, scored with double figures. We got 23 and 10 from Joyce Edwards. She's having the best season of her career. Another 20-point game from her. And then 15 and 15 we got from Medina Okot. She even had a double-double in the first half, which is great. She's been doing that a bunch this season. Then Tessa Johnson had 10 points. Tania Latson had 12. And unfortunately, Raven Johnson only was able to score 7 points. However, she was able to reach the 1,000 point milestone for her career. So, congratulations to Raven. Much deserved. And it's been a huge honor and a great joy to watch her entire career develop at South Carolina. She was a player who just could not score the basketball. And that was really her only fault. And I say that not in a way to discredit her or to put her down in any way. She is a phenomenal basketball player, great court vision, great basketball IQ, knows where everyone needs to be, is the leader of this team. And she's great at passing, she's great defensively. She just struggled scoring early in her career. That was the only thing that she needed to work on. And we've seen her points per game average increase every year that she's been under Dawn Staley. And it's an absolute treat to watch. She is a player that is absolutely beloved by this fan base. And seeing her progress year in and year out is a great joy. And I'm very happy that she's able to play like this and see her game develop. Obviously, tonight, only 7 points. Nothing to write home about, but this was more of a culmination and a celebration of her career as a South Carolina Gamecock. So this was her last game. This was the, unofficial senior night. They're not going to, bring out flowers and stuff like they do, during the regular season. But this is the last time that Raven Johnson, Medina Okot, Tania Latson, and Miriam Dowda will suit up for the Gamecocks and play in Colonial Life Arena. Now, Tania and Medina are both transfers, and Miriam Dowda has been a bench warmer for the majority of for pretty much her entire career. So, unfortunately, Miriam hasn't had a huge impact on this team, but this was unofficially a celebration of Raven Johnson's career. Now, if we talk about this game, as I mentioned, this game was pretty much South Carolina's from the jump. They pretty much dominated in every single aspect of this game. They led by as many as 46 points. If you could poke a hole in this performance, they only shot 27% from 3-point. So if they were able to hit a couple more 3-pointers, I mean, we're talking about dropping 110 points, maybe even more on this Southern Cal team. Now, granted, they are without uh, Juju Watkins, who we're pretty much right around where she injured herself in March Madness a year ago. She did it in the second round, and this was a second round matchup. So pretty much, I don't know the exact date, but it's around the 1 year mark of her getting injured in March Madness. So, you could say that, this game would be different if Juju Watkins was in this game. However, South Carolina is the far superior team, and I don't believe that Juju Watkins would have really changed much of this outcome. She is a tremendous player. She's one of the best players in the country, but I don't think that she would have been able to completely change the outcome of this game. I think South Carolina was the far superior team, and they proved it. And they're getting Chloe Kitts back next year. We might get Ashlyn Watkins back, hopefully. May or may not have Medina Okot get another year of eligibility and come back. You're going to have another year of Joyce Edwards developing. Senior year, Tessa Johnson. You're going to have Jersey Robinson leading the new wave of Gamecocks. And we also have to shout out Agot McKeer. She dropped 16 in the first round against Southern, and she dropped 15 points in this game as well, both of them coming off the bench. She is a freshman this year. She's one of the highest rated recruits. And these two games were kind of her coming out party, and she's finally becoming the player that we expected to see from her. Is this going to be enough for South Carolina to get over the Yukon Hill and beat them? I don't know about that. I think that we should cancel March Madness after what we saw today between Yukon and Syracuse. Yukon leading 65-12 at the half. Yukon leading 65-12 at halftime. And it's insane that they didn't even score 100 points. When you score 65 in the first half, they really let the foot off the gas pedal. Gino Auriemma said that game was one of the most dominant halves of basketball that he's ever seen in his entire life. And he coaches UConn. He's coached the greatest teams to ever play women's basketball, not just women's basketball, but maybe just touch a basketball in general. You think of all the legends that came through those doors. So for him to say that was the most dominant he's ever seen UConn play, that is a very high compliment. I don't think that South Carolina is anywhere near as good as UConn is, but if Agot McKeer is able to come off the bench and kind of be a spark plug, kind of the way that Mylasia Fulwiley was when she was here, if she's able to get those important points off the bench, maybe that gives South Carolina a glimpse of hope. But I don't think that this team is good enough to win a national championship this year. I don't even think they're going to get there. I think they're going to lose in the Final Four, which, again, is not a bad season. We've become kind of numb to this. We kind of expect South Carolina to make it to the Final Four every year. We kind of take it for granted. I think this team is obviously good enough to get there. Are they going to hang a banner this season for the championship? I have little to no faith in that, but this is still a very great team. And now with this win, South Carolina faces an old foe in Oklahoma. One of the only two teams that were able to beat South Carolina this year. Texas beat them twice, and Oklahoma was able to get them in Norman. That game went into overtime. Aaliyah Chavez went absolutely berserk in overtime. She couldn't miss, and Oklahoma ended up running away with that game in overtime. Now, if you look at the line on the ESPN app, it says that South Carolina is favored by 18.5 points. If we're able to beat a team that beat us by 18 and a half points or 19 points, I guess, that would be amazing. You know, I'm sure Dawn Staley on her long flight to Sacramento, because we now have to play in Sacramento instead of Fort Worth because we lost the SEC championship game to Texas. They play all of their tournament games in Texas until the Final Four. So now we have to go all the way to the other side of the country, play 2 games, and our first of those 2 games, should we win the first, is against the team that beat us. Now, Dawn Staley is a tough coach to beat. You rarely beat her once, and it's even more rare to beat her twice. So, obviously, with there being tape on Oklahoma, I'm sure the film sessions are going to be more intense. I'm sure the practices are going to be more intense. And I do expect South Carolina to win. And I do expect them to come out with an edge because Oklahoma beat them this year. So I do expect South Carolina to win on Saturday and advance to the Elite Eight. But, it's not going to be easy because Oklahoma did beat them. And if you can beat a team once, you can beat a team twice. But we'll see how the Gamecocks match up against the Sooners on Saturday. But that does it for this YouTube video, this recap. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. If you like my content, make sure you like this video. Make sure you drop a comment down below. Tell me how much you loved the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you follow me on social media if you want to find more of my content on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Kevin Bulkicki. Thank you, and we will see you next time.